The Cheating Death Podcast is a satirical program containing objective, transparent, and direct information about anything and everything under the sun. We pull no strings, we hide no bullshit, and we provide you with the full, transparent, and clear truth. Why? Because life is too filled with calamity. Left turns when there should be right turns. Narrow forks in the road when there should be nothing but a straight road ahead. So our mission, our goal, is to provide you with the information that you want, the information that you need, at no cost to you, unless you choose to support the program. We are all finding our way in this calamity-filled life, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, dear listener, but this is all because you have chosen to take time to listen to the Cheating Death Podcast. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we provide insight on the proverbial gambling conspiracy, why it seems the proverbial powers that be, both state, federal, provincial, federal, and international, seem to be gung-ho on making sure that everyone and their mothers has a gambling application or does a bit of gambling on a regular, everyday basis. We also provide insight on the lovely ideology that is the way one shapes their risks with an all-new Annihilation Announcement. We also provide an all-new joke of the episode, a new form of long joke, and we're testing the waters with that. We also provide you with a top 5 list of our favorite card games, and of course much, much more, dear listener. If you are looking to try stand-up comedy, go on over to Instagram.com/backroomcomedyclub. Give them a follow. Go to Instagram.com/BrandoJokes and give him a follow as well. And follow and sign up for the Comedy Dojo, where Brandon, as well as his lovely, beautiful, talented team, will teach you how to do comedy very well. And dear listeners, if you are into the idea of evolution within yourself, you have found the right place. For when we take time to understand and note exactly what we are capable of, there's absolutely nothing that can stop us. We are all doing our very best, and all we must do is just believe in ourselves. And if you would like to support the program, you may do so by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Cleric of Chaos. Link is in the episode's description. You can buy yourself some merchandise. You can buy yourself a cameo. And in the credits section of the program, we also provide you with a list of lovely comedians, friends, actors, entrepreneurs, and they're all listed in the episodes and podcast description as well. Dear listener, by now you know damn well what to do. You have made a decision, and you just grab that iced coffee, put your feet up, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Looking over the seas and climbing the mountains, reaching new heights, understanding exactly where we stand is crucial to development in today's society. We have so many ways to access tools, to access shapes, to access different methods of communication and different mediums in which we can provide ourselves with an excellent opportunity to see the fight within. Note that we, as human beings, do everything that we possibly can to ensure that danger is avoided, to assure ourselves that in this time we will be protected, that we will be taken care of, that we will be found to be peaceful, more so than lamenting our situation. And whenever we get ourselves into a position, into a point to where the world is asking us questions that we do not have answers for, it is not a time for you to be afraid. It is a time for you to look ahead positively and understand just how much you bring to the table, to see exactly what will be done in the shape of your calamity, how you risk the various things, assets, attributes that you have on a daily basis, dear listener, is not necessarily something that is completely lost on all of society. For you see, we all risk something every day. Just by waking up, we risk our peace. Sometimes just by getting out of bed, we risk whether or not we are going to fail that day. Yet, it is imperative that we take these leaps and we take these risks, because if we do not, we will not know exactly how capable we truly are. We are required, in a way, to just function, to exist, to assimilate to our particular geographic and our socioeconomic conditions. But when was the last time that you genuinely took care of yourself? That you sat down with a nice book, put on some soft jazz or some classical music, and just read? Or you just enjoyed the moment? Or do you live a life where you're constantly going from point to point to point to point to point to point to point with no rest, no relaxation, no reprieve? If you chose the latter, note, dear listener, that your rest, your relaxation is vital. You absolutely must believe in yourself, and you must do everything you possibly can to wage war on mediocrity. But we are not telling you anything that you do not already know. And this has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this has been your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde, guten Morgen, guten Tag und eine gute Nacht. Ist deine Reisende und deine Ausländer, deine Allesfresser, deine Schauspieler, deine wer nicht. Denn wir vermehren das Licht, es ist aus, und heute stellen wir Astra. Ich bin bereit und heute ist ein schöner Tag. Today, dear listeners, we may very well have a little bit of an issue on our hands as it pertains to the whole circumstances with respect to gambling, conspiracies, and so on and so forth within. Understand that gambling in and of itself is neither good nor bad in the public opinion. It is just something that is. It is an activity that people participate in to receive the same dopamine rush and the same dopamine thrill that they would get from seeing bright and shiny colors, seeing their favorite foods, having alcohol, or a nicotine-filled device, beverage, and so on and so forth. Dear listener, I need you to understand that if you are suffering from a gambling addiction and you want a way out, before we continue with this program, I must provide you with a toll-free number of 1-888-230-3505. That is 1-888-230-3505. They will provide you with next steps, provide you with some advice as to how to handle your particular concerns, and they will assist you in being able to move forward. Now, the idea of gambling being a conspiracy to keep the people down and to keep people controlled has been a thing for centuries, millennia, if you will. All the way since back in the Sumerian times when people were betting little bits of rock and stone for bits of property, and all the way back when people were betting livestock, their various real estate. It is quite obvious, dear listener, that in this time, we know for sure that this is a method of control. This is a method of trying to keep the masses in a hope-filled position all the while taking their money away. Anyone in whom has been to a casino can tell you quite bluntly that the house always wins. If you get lucky enough to win a couple of jackpots, and you deem that being a good sign for you to keep going, the house is won. If you have purchased 3 scratch tickets, $3 a piece, $9 total, and you win on one of them of $15, and you so shall choose to purchase more scratch tickets with that $15, let's say you purchase 3 more, another $9, right? Therefore, not only are you not making that $6 profit anymore, but you are technically out $18. So you look into the overall schematic and how gambling works as a whole. Boil it down. Gambling is used to control people. It is used as a way and as a tactic to keep people from being able to realize their financial potential. You see it every day. The lottery signs outside convenience stores, you could win $30 million. Today's jackpot is a staggering $1.4 billion in the New York City Powerball. It's all hope. It's all bells and whistles that people are never going to be able to touch, never going to be able to experience, and yet we have convinced ourselves as a society that the lottery, that the casinos, that gambling overall is going to be something that is going to take us to high heights. Ask yourself, if you have a friend in whom is obsessed with gambling, are they really happy? Are they jovial? Or are they chasing down a potential dream that may not exist? Are they looking down the hole, a barrel of no return when it comes to their ability to win and their ability to lose? We gamble with everything to a certain degree. Every day when we go outside, we gamble with our lives. When we go to work, we gamble with ourselves mentally and emotionally. And when we try our very best to do everything that we possibly can to move forward in a way without that particular monkey on our back, without that particular cross to bear, sometimes you find yourself feeling vacant, absent, if you will. But that does not mean that you should give up. It does not mean that you should end your life or your situation or completely isolate yourself based on the element of gambling in which you have become accustomed to. There is help. There are solutions. And we strongly recommend that if you feel that your gambling has reached a problem, that you follow each and every single set of instinct that you can to find the help that you have deserved. Remember, be kind to yourself. Take it one day at a time. And never give up on living life. But we're not telling you anything that you don't already know. Until next time, dear listeners, thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. A man once lost all his money at a casino, and as he was walking out the door, he realized that he had 1 chip left for $10,000. He decides to walk back into the casino, places the chip on the table, and says, "I'll put it all on red." The dealer looks a little bit perplexed since he wasn't at the right table, so he directs him over to the roulette table. And he once again reiterates, "I'll put it all on red, damn it." And once again, the administrator of the roulette table looks a bit perplexed, but he obliges. The roulette wheel spins and spins and spins and spins and spins, and all of a sudden the ball pops out, completely leaves the roulette table, almost as if it had a mind of its own, and goes into the ear of a red-headed woman. At which point, the man loudly celebrates, "Yes, I have done it. I told you placing it on red would be a sure bet to win." It was at this time that the casino realized that they had been bamboozled, and that it was a mere trick. And just remember that before you leave, the house always wins. At the top of today's list, we promised you a top 5 of our current favorite card games, and without further ado, here we go. Coming in at number 5, we have Gin Rummy. Coming in at number 4, we of course have the age-old tested classic of Solitaire. Coming in at number 3, we have one of the best card games of all time, and that would be Blackjack. Coming in at number 2, we have Euchre, and coming in at number 1, we have 5-card stud poker. What are your top 5 favorite card games, let us know at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Over the course of time, there are professions that have crossed boundaries: geopolitical, geographic, international, moral, ethical, and so on. The old-time belief in that gambling is being utilized as a tool of control over the masses has not been lost on our current way of life. Every day, in every way, we see a new advertisement for something that would be categorized as a surefire opportunity for you to earn money, for you to win, for you to be able to move forward. However, it is noted, dear listeners, that this is not a test. This is not a solution that you should embark upon. Sure, gambling sounds like fun, and to a degree, playing cards with your friends, going to a casino, or just embarking on everyday adventure, especially when it comes down to gambling with one's life, it may seem fun at first. In fact, it may seem downright colorful, with all the bright, vibrant patterns that casinos and gambling entities put into their abilities to make you feel that it is your turn to play on the game. Do not lose yourself in the position where many often find themselves. You win a jackpot every once in a while? Fantastic. Get out while you can. Do not double down. Do not put all on 33 red. Do not ever, under any circumstance, bet the entire house on a blackjack hand of 16 or 17, for you will find yourself in a very tricky predicament, in which very few have been shown to escape with their proverbial lives from. The conspiracy itself is quite blunt, is quite bold, and is quite direct internationally. You see advertisements for gambling everywhere you go. People in whom are trying to recover from gambling or from similar entities of particular play. Note that this is a time when people see for themselves exactly how it is that they need to move forward. But this proverbial monkey on their back, this proverbial dagger in their side, this thorn in their leg, never stops persevering and never stops pushing, and it never stops telling them to keep trying to push for the jackpot. But let us be completely blunt with you, dear listener. If in the event that you are struggling with this particular type of concern, and you want help, you want to find yourself some peace, simply call 1-888-230-3505. That is 1-888-230-3505. They will be able to provide you with advice, next steps, potential referrals, and solutions to your particular situation. Do not be afraid to admit that you need help. Do not be afraid to admit that you may be on your own. For each of us gamble with our lives each and every single day, in almost every conceivable way. That does not mean that you are a bad person, and it does not mean that you are beyond help. It just means that you are another human being in whom is trying their best. And regardless of how that looks, and how the dice rolls, or how the cards are played out on the table, you have to believe that you can do it. You can overcome it. And until next time, dear listeners, thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Dem Lieben CRDVC, Cleric of Chaos, where you can find all podcasts on all platforms. If you would like to support the program, you may do so by buying us a coffee, by purchasing a Cameo, buying some merchandise, or much, much more. Links in the episodes and in the podcast description. Follow us at all of our social media, at youtube.com/@clericofchaos, where we're trying to get 100 subscribers before the end of the summer. Also, dear listeners, please be sure to follow one of the legendary comedy clubs here in Toronto at instagram.com/backroomcomedyclub, and that of course is the Backroom Comedy Club at 814 Bloor Street West in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Follow our comedian friends Alex Burke at instagram.com/alexburkecomedy, Damon Charles at instagram.com/damon.charles, Will Daniels at instagram.com/lift4kids with a Z, Darren Burke at instagram.com/darrenburkecomedy, Nicole Rhiannon at instagram.com/hot.mama.scholar, and of course our very, very fun and professional powerlifting friend Douglas Mallow over at instagram.com/just_the_epic. Note that the Backroom Comedy Club has comedy shows 5 nights a week, Wednesday through Sunday, at 8 p.m. and at 10 p.m., and their shows are also available in bite-sized format over at Instagram.com. Make sure to follow their YouTube channels and their YouTube page for more information as it pertains to upcoming shows and upcoming specials. And be sure to follow all of our friends in the pinned profile posts at Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course the playlists on each and every single platform of the podcasts that you have downloaded in your arsenal and library. If you or anyone else is experiencing any sort of emergency calamity, including but not limited to domestic violence, suicidal thoughts and or ideations, drug and alcohol abuse, or you are in critical danger in the LGBT network and support, gambling, abuse, substance withdrawal, please locate the telephone numbers listed in the podcast description for more information. And dear listeners, of course, if you are looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center, for they are in dire need of your support. And note that if in the event you do find yourself a fluffy critter, do not hesitate to provide them with all the treats that they can eat. And of course, go to yummypets.com/voice, sign up for an account, click the button once per day to give them an opportunity to have 330 pounds of free kibble for shelter animals, dogs and cats alike. Dear listener, we understand that life is not easy. We know this by now. You know this by now too. And with us being where we are in this current modern day, we have to do what we can to wage war and to persevere and to do everything we can to overcome mediocrity. We absolutely can. And believe in yourself. Because remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.